Well, hello again to Sheltered Sages, the show where two formerly sheltered homeschoolers, now adults, deal with the complexities of the internet one crazy Reddit story at a time. I am Andrew.
And I am Philip, and you put a little bit like a twist on that.
I mean, we're in our second semester. I gotta personalize it a little bit. We can't just have the same old. We gotta adapt, grow.
I see. Yes. I like it. That was very nice. Well done.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us for another week. We are super excited to be here, and life's been crazy, but in like an exciting way as we just keep moving forward and like being able to do these episodes is just a fun thing to get back into the swing of things. So I'm excited.
It's always been like a thing this entire week or the past couple of weeks where it's like there's one thing after another thing after another thing. It doesn't stop. It's neither horrible bad things or really amazing things. It's just stuff.
Things. That's like the worst part of being an adult is like things that happen to you are not exciting.
No.
Or terrifying. They're just things, and you have to deal with the things, and the things pile up, and then you've just got a large pile of things.
We're using that word a lot, but I think if you're an adult, you already understand
what
we're talking about.
If you're not an adult, first of all, why are you listening? Just kidding. You're welcome to continue listening.
You're welcome to listen. Just know that someday you will get to this point.
You'll get it. I tell my kids all the time when I'm teaching, I'm just like, you don't really, like, you just enjoy it. I know you want to be an adult. Don't. It's a trap. It's a trap. Stay a child.
Enjoy being a child.
Enjoy it.
It's great.
Oh, goodness.
But if this is your first episode, welcome for the first time.
Yes.
If this is not your first episode, welcome back. We're happy to have you. This is a crazy little fun thing. It's like having you hang out with us almost. Like, I enjoy that.
I mean, this is actually pretty much what we do.
That's true.
Before we actually press record on the camera, we pretty much spend like an hour and a half talking about things that we could probably make an entire episode of the podcast of, but we don't because we're just talking and hanging out. So you're pretty much just getting a look into what it is like to sit at a table with us.
Only
so
you can't
to our
talk.
wives,
Unless you're commenting. Yeah,
it's true. It's
so
true.
Please
if you're
comment
commenting,
if you want to respond.
That's how you
to
engage. Well, maybe we'll do like a live show one of these days. We would have to get we could have to get a lot of people into it to do like a live show.
Yeah,
Anyways.
That's true.
All right. Well, today's story, as we're going to do, is we're actually going to do another episode of our unfinished archives because in the first semester we had a lot of stories that we touched on and a lot of cool things that we covered, but there were a lot of stories that we ended up missing. And so as we kind of said, life has been crazy. Instead of trying to find stories that specifically pertain to one episode, we decided we're just going to go back through our catalog and pull some of our other stories out. So that is what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah.
But before we do
stories
that,
that we wanted to do, but now we get to do.
Yeah.
But before we do that, what are we going to do?
Oh, we got to start the episode officially now. Alrighty, you ready for your first story, my friend?
I am ready for the first story. Let's go.
We are jumping back in there, and I'm actually pulling our first story today from a different subreddit because we are in the second semester. We are changing it up. We are going to be doing things differently, and I'm reading our first story from a subreddit known as, well, I can't actually say the word because just like Am I the Picklefoot, it also has another fun let's say moniker in it. But let's just say, we gotta figure out a fun word for it. But today I messed up.
Okay.
We're going from the Today I Messed Up subreddit. But it's not messed up. It's a different word. It's a word I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Today I messed up. That's what it is.
Sure, yes. They'll be like, what is this podcast? Where is the subreddit that they're reading from? I'm a Reddit sub connoisseur, and I don't know that subreddit.
All right. So what's the story name?
All right. So, title of the story. Today I messed up by running in the teacher relay race.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go.
So this happened on Friday. So I'm still sore. Both my body and my pride. I'm a teacher at a large high school. We had our whole school athletics day on Friday, and I was pumped. I was dressed up in my house colors, ribbons, and face paint and all, and had a great day being a judge on the track. I think watching kids race around all day gave my 35-year-old self a whole lot of false confidence.
Oh, no.
Well, the teacher relay race is announced. I'm asked to run. I agree. Despite having slides on, no problem, I'll run in bare feet. I also have not sprinted 100 meters in about 20 years, but I don't worry about that. It's just running, right?
No, it's not.
It's not. I'm up first, and the race starts. I'm running as fast as I can, but I can sense I'm being passed pretty quickly. no problem. I'll speed up. But while my legs start pumping faster, my body just doesn't. I'm all out of whack, and almost in slow motion, I go down like a sack of bricks. Full flail, outstretched arms skidding along my face in front of 2,000 students, my colleagues, and God himself. Now I have had the weekend to feel all the aches and pains this absolute faceplant has resulted in, and I have an absolute horrific case of the Sunday scaries. I am not looking forward to being roasted for the rest of the year for this. TLDR, I thought I could run a race. Ended up faceplanting in front of thousands of students and all my colleagues. Yeah, seems to have a very good opinion, though, about it. Very, very comedic writing.
Yeah, this... So, what I find the funniest about all of this situation is that they knew it wasn't a good idea before they began. And I tend to see stuff like this happen to individuals who understand that, you know, they are not as capable as they think they are at something, but they go into it. Like you said, too, I am very happy that instead of just yelling at people or being super upset or getting super dramatic about it, they were just like, you know what? I messed up.
I'm going to make people on the internet laugh at me.
Exactly. I did a funny.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have done this, but I did.
Yeah.
So there is... Please forgive me. I'm going to tell a little story. So, way back, there was like an outdoors thing where a bunch of the families that we knew got together. Turns out a lot of them were all homeschooling families. So it was kind of like a whole outdoors thing where we got to go out there and hang out and play a bunch of games. There was this one big capture the flag game that happened.
Capture the flag for homeschoolers is a different game.
Yes.
Like,
if you don't know, capture the flag for homeschool.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but like we played capture the flag every summer camp I went to. Every time I gathered with my friends, every time we went into the park, capture the flag was always one of the games that on, and it was like it got violent.
That's exactly
I'm talking
what
like full body tackles. I'm talking like oh, it got bad, and like truces were made, friendships were destroyed. It was literally like the Hunger Games.
Yes,
but you know, minus the. Well, no, there were still children fighting each other.
Yes.
You know, if parents didn't get involved, we'd probably get to the end stages of the Hunger Games.
Yes, we would.
But anyways, back to your story. I'm sorry.
Yes. Imagining that situation, right? It's a very serious game. So for the most part, it was the younger kids that were going about doing their thing. Then suddenly, the older kids were getting involved because I think it was the parents who were like, hey, you guys can't just sit around doing nothing. You got to get involved. You just got to go in there. So one of my sisters, who I will say, she is very competitive. She's over there on one side. She's basically like the team leader for this one side of it. On the other side, there is another young woman who is also super competitive. So at one point in the game, I wasn't playing. I don't like playing these kinds of games. I get really scared whenever something is happening. Both of them are running at each other, right? And you can see the anger and the frustration and the want to win in their eyes. And they're going across this entire football field, getting closer and closer and closer. And like each side is going, one of them is going to chicken out, right? One of them is going to turn away. One of them is going to stop. But they keep going. Oh, no. And they go faster and faster. I don't know if I saw it or just heard it, because in the middle of the field, there's this giant crack as they both smash into each other. Full speed.
Oh gosh, full speed ahead from Epic the Musical starts playing in the background.
And they fall over. And I think at that point, when they're on the ground, they both realize, wow, I don't know what got into me. I don't know what happened. I don't even remember if they continued playing or if they just both decided we're going to sit it out.
After a concussion, that's probably a good time to take a breather.
Yeah.
And have a hot dog.
But it was just one of those moments where it's like, you both knew this wasn't a good idea. You both knew that you didn't really want to do this as much.
Oh my gosh.
Did it anyway.
Yeah. At that point in time, you just like, this is the consequences of my actions. I'm going to have to going to have to suck it up on that one. Yeah.
So to the same person, I'm thinking, good on you for understanding it's a silly, funny moment. I'm sorry that you fell over. I'm sorry that you had this. Just realize before you start out, if you're doing anything like this, especially if you know you're not prepped and ready for it, stretch before you go on and do it.
Maybe wear some good shoes and not run it barefoot.
Yeah.
Well, so like the reason I read this story and I first picked it. Well, no, actually, I just thought it was a funny story the first time I read it. But the second time, when I was like looking over which one I wanted to read for today, it just reminded me of what. So we were we went up to Kentucky, I think. Maybe it's Ohio. Oh, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
That's where it is.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so over the summer, we went for a family vacation over 4th of July weekend. Well, we went for longer than a weekend, but for the last little bit of it, we stayed at the Great Wolf Lodge. And they have you've probably seen the ads, but they have like an indoor water park and things like that. And so like I love water slides. I'm just unfortunately a little bit too big. I'm getting closer. I can get on water slides and things like that. And there was one ride that was like a family ride that multiple people could go on that I went on way too often, and it was a lot of fun. But the thing that the point of the story is that there was this thing, I don't know if you've ever seen them before at water parks, but it's literally like it was this netting that went over the pool. And underneath the netting, it was like these slippery lily pads that you're supposed to like hold on to the netting and make your way across the lily pads.
Andrew, is this a story about you?
Yes, this is a story. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so we were there for like, I think 3 or 4 days. And so I'm watching all these people do it. And they do it a couple times. I'm like, I could do that. So I could do that. It's fine. But because I'm also incredibly competitive.
Yeah, you are.
I decided to wait until I don't know what the proper term. I think they're my cousins, but it's my wife's cousins. And so I was waiting until our cousins were there, and they came in for the day to like hang out with us and go to the water park. And I was waiting till he was there, and because I'm competitive, I'm like, hey, you, let's race.
Andrew.
Oh, gosh, because obviously myself got very cocky. I had been losing weight. I was like, I'm doing great. I'm doing taekwondo all the time. Yeah. Obviously, this equates to being incredibly fast.
Absolutely.
So we line up, and there's 2 of them that run side by side, and you can either go like on your own time or you can like line up with someone to go at the same time. And we go, and I start, and I grab the first one, I get on it, and instantly I'm sliding and falling, like on my butt. I've got the net above me to help me hang on, but then I try and like get up onto my feet, and it's like trying to do a deadlift pull-up, and I'm just like, oh, this isn't gonna work. And I had that split moment where I'm like, I could either push through and like destroy my body for the rest of the weekend to try and win.
Yep.
Or I could just give up. And so there's this really great moment. Maybe we'll post it because I think my wife has it on video
of it.
I think my wife has it on
okay.
video. So maybe we'll link it here and like anyways. So sorry.
No, you're good.
So like we're just there, and I make it one lily pad. And I try to go the second one, and I don't. And I just, there's that moment where it's like that scene. I don't remember the movie where like all of the numbers are rolling by my head and the calculations are screaming by. And I'm like, okay, I could do this if I do this. And I'm like, it's gonna be too much work. And you just see me as I let go and just plop into water.
You're done. That's it.
And so I just read this story again, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's me. I did that.
Yep.
So anyways,
yeah,
I just love it. And just like I am one of those people who, and even when I was younger, because I did, because we talked about how I went to school for a little bit, and during that time we didn't have like a homeschool field day to my remembrance. We might have, and someone might remind me, but we did. Like the 2 years I went to school, we did have like a field day, and I told myself, I was like, I'm gonna be so good at this. And I actually was pretty athletic when I was younger, but it made me super cocky when I got older, and like I'm not athletic, and then I think I'm gonna be fine, and then I jump in and I'm like, what am I doing? I have awful stamina.
I cannot do it.
But anyways, I want to read some of the comments because they are absolutely hilarious. Someone says, at least you gave it a go. Now, quit your job and move to another country.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
And someone else said, it's a good story, at least. If not for you, then for the kids.
Oh, my gosh.
Someone else says, no. You're missing the opportunity. You are tricked. That's the story.
Oh, yes. I know a lot of teachers who would probably do that. They'd be like, hey, you know what? Something's wrong with this ground.
This ground isn't even. I just tripped. It happens. Anyways,
like that.
So not our normal flavor of story, but it's so funny.
I like that.
And I like it. Like I reminded that story. I'm like, I got to tell this story.
I like that. I like that a lot.
But yeah. So
Thank
anyways,
you for that story.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I can tell one more story. Let's go on with a story, and then I'll pivot over to to my story that's over here, just because it's fun and I like where we're going with this. So one more story along with this one is we went to a high ropes course. I don't know like which group it was with. I think it was like our church group or something like that. Church groups do a lot of crazy stuff as well. So we go over to the high ropes course. Of course, when we're going over there, they explain the whole different courses. There's like the green course. It's the easy one. You can go across there. It's a little high, but it's fine. There's the yellow course, which is a little more difficult if you want to challenge. And then there's the red course.
Ooh.
And when they tell us about the red course, they say,
dangerous.
Not many people have finished the red course.
Of course they said that. Of course.
So myself, and I think two other individuals who are very competitive. Yes. I was a lot more competitive when I was much younger or a teenager.
I'm so glad you did this because I'm just like, oh, come on, Philip. You had to take the bait.
I was like, you know what? I'm fit. I can do this. Like, I'm ready to go. So I head up there, and, it's a ropes course. So you're climbing up things. You're heading across. You've got, like, a thing on your back that's connecting you to the rope so you don't fall over. So as we're going through there, I think it was halfway through because you're, like, hanging, like, pull-ups and things like that across there. I am leaning against a tree, breathing heavily, and I'm just like, I think they're going to have to come and, like, pull me down from this. And whenever you fail at it, they kind of connect a line to you and just belay you down. I was like, I can't do this in front of all of them. I can't do this. So I finished the course. I did. And when I got down, I acted like it was the most fun thing after. But if you looked at me, I was not standing. I was not moving.
Yeah.
My entire body ached so bad. And I was like, this is a bad idea. I could have just gone the yellow course or even the green course and had a great time. Instead, I was fighting for my life up there.
Well, okay, that just like talking about the course, that reminds me of like Taekwondo. So when we did the, one of the instructors in Taekwondo, he does this really great. Like he's a genius when it comes to like coming up with fun obstacle courses and stuff for the kids. You remember which one I'm talking about.
I did.
So for the listeners at home, and if you ever listen to this one, instructor, you know who I'm talking about. He creates fantastic obstacle courses that we have to go through, and like normally, like you've had to because you've been a student, but normally I just get to sit there and I'm just being like, I'm going to tell you what to do and make sure you do it correctly, but I'm not going to do it myself.
Oh no!
But I don't remember if this was one of our Christmas ones with like the Rescue Santa, or if this was one. No, this was the one more recent that we just did, which was like I think in June. Yeah. And we had like I'm trying to remember the details of it. Do you remember like more of like everything that was in it?
We went upstairs.
Yeah, there was like a stair stepper that we had to do.
We ran around multiple laps.
Oh, you had to do like a wall jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
there was a wall jump, like not like jumping on a wall, but like you literally had to like vault over a thing and then do a roll on the other side and then a bear crawl. Then you had to do like kicks. Then you had to disarm someone.
Oh, you're talking about the course. That's
yeah, the course. Yeah. And then you had, you
know what I'm talking about. That's when I was
just last week.
Yeah.
So he So like, and it ends with this like disarming someone, knocking them to the ground, and going and rescuing this. Like, we have one of those like punch bobs. If you've ever seen one of those, it just looks like a person from.
It's like a mannequin that you fight.
Yeah. So the kids had all done it, and they loved it, and they were having a grand old time, and I was enjoying it, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta do it at this point in time. I've got to try, and so I do it, and I'm going, and I'm running, and I don't go slowly. I'm 300 plus pounds, but I do not move like I'm 300 plus pounds. I feel like I'm relatively quick on my feet.
But I will say to anyone who ever has to go up against him, when he is moving towards you, it is terrifying. He can cover ground in an impossibly quick amount of time.
Because I walk on my toes. I know how to bounce off.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
That's the only thing I could do in basketball. It's like I was good at getting across and I was good at defending, but I can't, don't ask me to shoot the ball. It's to someone who can. But we finished this course, and I'm like, I'm going great. I'm not thinking about it. I'm breathing. And we go to get to the end, and I go to stand up, and when it's like literally the end of class, and I'm supposed to do all of our announcements at the end, and I'm standing there, and I'm just like, and I'm literally just like sitting there dying. I literally almost threw up. That was the worst part. Like, sorry to be gross, but I'm just saying that you remember. I do remember. I almost
didn't know you almost threw up.
Yes, it was bad.
So sorry. No. You look so much more composed.
Oh, I'm very
in
good
the situation.
I'm a professional actor, so.
So from our perspective, he's going up there giving his endings as a teacher, as a instructor, and he is just standing there kind of like, yeah, so we're going to do the, and he just pauses for a bit, like, so we're thinking, wow, he's just really thinking about what he's
really
supposed to say next.
Pausing for dramatic effect. Inside my body is like, ba-doom, 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 ba-doom.
Trying not to die. Okay, I love that. All
right, enough of sports and me being not as athletic as I want to be.
Okay.
But anyways,
I like that.
It was a fun story. Anyways, so
let us pivot. Let's go to the other story.
All right, let's get back to pickle feet.
So I am going to tell you a wonderful story here. This story, its title is "Am I the Picklefoot for telling my pregnant friend that her kid was going to get bullied for the name she plans on using?"
No. Oh no. Okay, I've read a similar story to this. I don't think it's this story, but I've read stories like this. So
it happens often.
Let's hear it out. Often. They better tell what the name is, because if they don't say what the name is, I'm gonna be mad. Okay, good.
Here we go.
Because then I can judge. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I got a shift dynamic.
You're good.
Awful baby names. It's awful baby. All right, let's go.
One of my friends found out she was pregnant a few months ago, and she's really excited to be a mother. I'm happy for her and think she'd make a good mom. But there's one problem. She wants her baby's name to be unique and special, but the way she's going about it is terrible. What I mean is, the name she plans on using is awful. If it's a boy, she's going to name him Danger, spelled Daynger. So it's not even spelled correctly. Yes, spelled like that to be unique. And if it's a girl, she's going to name her Tinkerbell. Okay. I wish I was joking. I asked her if she was 100% sure and suggested that she was dead set on those names to make them the kid's middle name. When she asked why, I told her flat out that the child would get bullied if she named them that. I know just how terrible kids can be. I got bullied for my name and changed it when I was 19. Mm-hmm. She got really upset and told me I was being unsupportive and was a terrible friend. She's been ignoring my texts ever since, and it's been more than a week. I'm starting to feel kind of guilty over what I said. Am I the Picklefoot?
I have so many feelings about this. This is sister or friend? I'm trying to remember.
It is friend.
Friend. Okay. This is it's complicated because, like, they just found out they're pregnant, right? And so they are now, like, in the early stages of picking baby names and, like, oh, I want to kind of do this or I want to do that. I think there's one level of being like, hey, just be cautious, because this is something that could very well get them harassed as children. But also, you have to recognize, how close are you with this friend? Do you have the authority to speak into this person's life like that?
Yeah.
Like, are you just like an acquaintance who's like, if you and I had a conversation and I was like, oh, hey, like, we're pregnant, we're gonna name our kid Fluffernutter. And I feel like you and I have a close enough friendship that you could be like, hey bro, no. Just no. Absolutely not. Nutter butter, maybe. Fluffernutter, absolutely. but like, it's all about the relationship you have with the person and the way that you're saying it too. And they are unique names. But let me also tell you, there are some names that, and obviously I can't say the names because they're kids I work with, but like there are some kids that I've worked with who have names that like from the outset you're like, you really shouldn't give that person that name.
Yes.
Because it's like it's related to either like a mythological character or like adjacent to a character in a book or something like that. And I've even like talked to the parents and they confirmed this and I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The name is cool. And like especially when the kid owns it. Like, I'm sorry, like a boy who's like a daredevil and like who likes to play sports.
Hey, what's your name? My name is Danger.
What's up, Danger?
Yeah. What's up, Danger? Like, own that.
So, like, to some extent, I was like, I think it can be something that like it could be, but honestly, not the worst names I heard. Tinkerbell, not the worst name I've heard for a kid. I'm sorry, I work with kids now. I have met lots of kids with really unique names. You said unique, and I was thinking it was going to be that weird unique spelling of unique that we were going for.
Oh no!
Like I think it's a choice. I think it's certainly a choice.
Okay.
But also as a parent, it's one of those things that you get the opportunity to make it, and you just got to live with the consequences of it. But as a friend, you don't, especially if you don't have that place in that person's life to like directly be like, hey, you shouldn't do that. They're going to get bullied.
Yeah.
Like, or maybe they'll have really high self-esteem.
That's true. I would say when I read this originally, I think there's like two big issues that are happening with the story. And that's one of the reasons why it was hard for me to find a place to put it and even like a way to throw it into an episode. One of the first things of it is what you said. How close are you with this friend? Are you actually speaking to this life? Because if we take it away from like a naming type scenario to, let's say, what the child is going to eat. You're like, my kid's going to be vegetarian for the rest of their lives. Okay, you could say, well, that's kind of difficult, and I don't really think that, you should force your kid to be vegetarian. But also, if I tell you and you're having a kid that you shouldn't force your kid to be vegetarian, you're like, well, do I have enough say in your life to tell you how to take care of your kid for the rest of it? Maybe you have personal reasons why you want that to happen.
Well, it also reminds me, too, of like that conversation that we had about homeschooling and like the one who was trying to tell her, hey, you can't homeschool your kids.
Yes.
Where it's like, you didn't ask any questions. You didn't ask any fault. Like the whole like scenario that you're talking about, like raising them vegetarian. It's like, okay, well, maybe do you know what it's like to be vegetarian? Do you know, like, so what qualifications do you have to say you shouldn't do that?
Yeah.
Something like, obviously, like regardless of your whole opinions of vegetarianism or veganism or whatever it is, you have every right to raise your child. Like that's part of living in America, and to some extent is being able to like raise your kid the way that you believe, as long as it's not physically endangering them and hurting them and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that like that's where it gets to that level of you are supposed to, like, you're allowed to have these choices as a parent, and you have to respect these choices if you're a friend.
Yeah, and that's exactly where what I wanted to talk about, that second part as well, is while it is the parent's right to name the child, that second section of it is, if you are giving your child an interesting name, I am not against parents giving their children interesting names. For the first part is, it's not my say. It's your kid. You're going through all the trouble of either adopting them, having them, doing all this. Like, you did the stuff. It's not me. I don't have to deal with all that kind of stuff. So, like, whatever you want to name them, that's on you.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, I think it's a more a mentality if we were talking about, like, just naming your kid something crazy. Some people, I feel like, think, okay, I'm going to have a kid. They're going to be like my special little person, kind of like a pet. Where you're like, I can name my pet. If I want to name my cat Tinkerbell, that's fine. Like, whenever someone comes over, like, what's your cat's name? Tinkerbell. Oh, that's adorable.
That's so adorable, yeah.
When you're talking about a living, breathing human being that has to live with this for the rest of their lives, okay, yes, as a baby, it's easy. It's like, what's your baby's name? Tinkerbell. As a small little toddler, if they turn 3 years old, it's adorable. Oh, what's your name? Tinkerbell. As a 16-year-old, you have to go tell your friends, what's your name? Tinkerbell. As a 30-year-old person who is getting married, Tinkerbell is getting married to John Harkness. Like, it gets a little strange when you think. And so if you're like, okay, let me plan out what this person's life is going to be, you probably don't want to name them something that crazy. Now, if you're going to commit to it and be like, hey, I want to name you Tinkerbell because when I was quite young,
Yeah.
I loved Tinkerbell, and I thought she was the most beautiful and fantastic fairy. And so you are going to be, I don't know why I'm pitting them as a Southern person. Well, you are going to be my little Tinkerbell for the rest of your life. That's fine.
It's a very Southern.
But like, understand that and then recognize it. People probably are going to make fun of you, but honestly, people are going to make fun of you for any name.
Like, people will make fun of you if you had a stereotypical name. People would make fun. Like, if kids are going to bully you, kids are going to bully you regardless. Like, that's unfortunately the case. I think one of the interesting things too, on top of it, I think you really hit an interesting nail on the head when you were talking about like the difference between pets and people, and how it's like when you view a baby. At the beginning, I think sometimes it comes back to that idea of like people living vicariously through their children. It's like, I want to name my child this because I wish I had this name. And I'm like, okay, well, it's actually a lot cheaper to just go legally change your name than it is to have a baby just so you can have that name.
Yes.
Like, I know that's not obviously what's happening. There's more to it than that. But like, if that's what's happening, but that's where it comes down to is like, I would question, and again, this is where I think it should come from. Like, there should be questions that are involved. Like, let's dig in, let's figure out what's going on. Like, why are we wanting to? Because if there is a beautiful story attached to it, then go for it. I think it's one of those things. But it's like just shutting it down, being like, those are terrible names. You shouldn't name your children that. That's where I think they're kind of reaching into that picklefoot territory. Okay. So, kind of for this one, I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of like in a situation with a little bit of a jar of pickles, honestly, because it's like the mom, again, choosing a very unique name, and not necessarily like in a bad way, but like just choosing very unique names without giving a lot of context and shutting down when any form of backlash, I should say, is presented. But then you also got the friend who's like, no, your kid, like shutting it down without follow up, without asking any questions. It's like we both both are pickles. Both are pickle feet in this situation. A jar of pickle feet. I'm going to start off.
A jar of pickles.
Jar of pickles. Jar of pickle feet.
I'm going to hop into the comments, and then there's actually an update to this as well. I'm going to tell right afterwards.
All right, let's go.
So one of the biggest comments that's there, it says, cut your losses and let her. I'd be petty, and years later, if she comes back, oh, my kid's being bullied, I'd pull up the messages and just go along with it. I don't really fully agree with that, but I'm on the side of like
how people would do that, though.
Yeah, it's not your thing, and yeah, you can say I felt bad and I told you that this was going to happen, but like that's their kid. So here's the update. We had a conversation over call, I guess over a phone call. I decided to tell her about my experience getting bullied for years because of my name. Her name is Shaylee. Or Shaylee. Shaylee? Lay? Meh. They changed it to Gayley. And it turns out that she's been going through a lot. No. She didn't change her name to Gayley, but they called her Gayley.
Is it Gayley or is it Gale? What's it spelled?
It's spelled Shayleigh.
That's I think that.
Shaylee?
I think it's Shaylee.
Shaylee? Okay.
Shaylee.
Shaylee. Gayley.
Gayley. And how is she spelled Gayley? I'm just curious.
Same way, just with a G instead of the SH.
That's a weird way to call. Oh, that was the nickname that she was called.
Yes,
okay, I thought
nickname.
that was what she changed her name to at 19. I'm like, that's a really unique way,
right? So they made fun of her because of that. Yeah, that's what they. Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
But she says, turns out her friend has been going through a lot. Birth complications run in her family, and she's been really stressed about it, along with finding out that her boyfriend, now ex, of 3 years has been exchanging certain conversations with a coworker of his. Right? It gets crazy.
I was not expecting that.
No,
what is
it's
going
a twist,
on?
Right?
Okay. This is why this needed to be in a separate episode.
Yeah.
Like, you can't cover this in a normal.
No, it's just like, wow. I had no idea about this, and she expressed regret for taking out her feelings on me. I carefully brought up some of your points and suggested using the name Belle for a girl with
that would be
Tinkerbell
really good.
as a nickname. She thinks it's cute and liked the idea. I also mentioned that maybe using Dane as a first name with Danger as a nickname, which she wasn't quite as happy about. She did decide to use Danger, still spelled like that, as a middle name, which isn't nearly as bad as using it for a first name. On the bright side, the kid can tell people, danger is my middle name.
Yes! I love that. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
She says, thank you all for your advice, everyone. I really appreciate your help and suggestions.
Oh, see, that's a good resolution to that. Again, a conversation needed to happen.
Yep.
Questions needed to be asked. This is the solution, people. Ask follow-up questions. Don't just stick at one spot and let it be there.
Yeah.
Ask the follow-ups. Sorry, I'm peeking. I can hear it.
You're good. You're good.
Like,
you're good.
But like, yeah, ask those follow-ups. That's what needs to happen more often is we got to stop jumping to conclusions and like knee-jerk reactions and actually like ask an occasional question too.
Yeah.
Just like learn to seek to understand. I think that's like
Absolutely.
a management thing that my wife talks about. We seek to understand.
Yeah.
It's definitely something my therapist has talked about.
So I think like whether you're in school and you're thinking about going over and doing something more physically taxing than you should before, or you're trying to have a conversation with a friend who is making some interesting choices with
Permanent
names.
choices, yeah.
You should really slow down, think about what's going on, and oftentimes either have a conversation with yourself if it's a physically taxing thing and really think, am I ready to fail in a very public and wild way? Or am I ready to kind of make a very strong statement to a friend when they could be going through something? I say often, it's like, you never know what's going on in another person's life. Even if you think you know them very well, a lot of stuff can be going on.
Absolutely.
So it's like, take a step back, think about it, take some time. If someone ever is trying to push you to do something very quickly, other than a time where you need to do something very quickly, like let's say a game or something like that, usually in my life I go, it's not worth it. If someone's like, you need to go now. I usually go, okay, if I have to make a choice now, then I'm going to make the choice now. That's my thing. So it's like, think about it, slow down, because usually you make less mistakes when you slow down.
I don't appreciate that you found a through line in our episode that was supposed to be kind of like a grab bag of just different stories.
sorry.
How dare you make this a theme? Think more, people. No, I think before you act and or speak. Ooh, fancy. But I think that's really all the time that we have for today.
That's all the time we have for today.
So thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode. This was a lot of fun. I think I laughed a little bit too much. I'm sorry for you having to edit that audio.
No, you're good. It's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. If we've been saying it from before, but we have socials, so you can follow us at Sheltered Sages over on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. If you have your own stories, whether they relate to any of the stories that we told today or we've told in the past or have nothing to do with anything, send them to us. You can email us at shelteredsages@gmail.com and make sure that you put in that little subject line, listener write-in. We would love to get your stories and start our own, I'd love to just do a listener writer's episode. That's my goal. I'm starting to now canvas my friends of being like, hey, can you just write a story for me so that I can get this actually a thing? And they're all like, no, you're weirdo. Why are you talking to me like that? just kidding, of course. Yeah. But yeah, so other than that, I think that's
that's mostly it. I guess I'll leave you with two things. Okay. So either comment or send a story about when you did something that was kind of silly on your part that you probably shouldn't have done, like physically taxing or something like that. Or send me the worst baby names.
Oh my gosh, that you've encountered?
You can think of.
Yes.
Or you've encountered and tell me about
Okay,
that.
I feel like we need, before we fully leave, we need to come up with, because I want to do more stories from that subreddit, but we need to rebrand it because that's the whole picklefoot. Am I the picklefoot?
Yeah.
So what would be a good one for that one? Oh, what's a good one? Well, how about this? We'll leave it to the listeners.
Yeah.
You write
Tell us
in.
what it should be.
Tell us what you think it should be. And if we don't come up with something by the next time, well, maybe we'll use your suggestions. So, but anyways, on that note and with that challenge, I think we're going to go head out for the week.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye.